Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw, and welcome to my final Q&A, part 1. I'm going to start answering your questions in a little bit. If you guys do not know by now, I always go from first questions posted to last. So if you were one of the first people to get your questions in on the day of that I uploaded this video announcing the final Q&A and telling you guys post your questions, then more than likely your questions will be answered in this part. I'm going to go one upload per day. So part 1 is today, this Saturday. Tomorrow on Sunday will be part 2, and if we continue on with parts, then there's going to be happening like that. So expect that. So if your questions are not answered today, more than likely they'll be in part 2 or something, but they will be answered at some point depending on when you posted your questions. Anyways, without wasting any more time with this intro, let's jump into part 1. Let's start off with Iron Metal 222, aka Logan, another reviewer on YouTube, and he was the lucky number 1 to get his questions in first. So let's read it off and go here. Iron Metal 222, his first question is, what's been your favorite moment, event, that has happened during your time as a reviewer? And honestly, my favorite moment would have to be, it's not really a moment, it's moments where when I've met other reviewers that I really like Midnight Strike 2625, yourself, Logan, Thomas Rockaholic 11, and, you know, meeting these reviewers that I really respected because they were very honest in their reviews, and they were, you know, just saying, you know, their honest opinions, and they weren't, like, swaying this way or this way because the popular opinion is to think this, and they stood out. They did videos that other reviewers weren't doing, and that's what really caught my eye with these other reviewers that I consider friends now, because you and the others that I've, you know, grown to be friends with over the years have did different things and have stood out, in my personal opinion, among the community of reviewers on YouTube that review metal albums. So that was really my favorite moments. And I guess another one would have to be, you know, meeting these really cool people, you know, that would comment on my videos and say, I like your content, I love your content, I agree with you. And I really felt like that I was really connecting with people because I was being honest and they liked the honesty, and I was just meeting some awesome reviewers, awesome people through this whole experience. So really that's what it is meeting those cool people and really, you know, sharing my opinions and hearing feedback and basically hearing what people think and if they agree or disagree. It was just really cool to have that communication with other reviewers and other people that watch my content. So that was really my favorite stuff, my favorite moments, if you will. His second question is, discography you would have liked to do if you weren't done. I had a couple in mind, but the one that I would really like to do that I did not do would be the Between the Buried and Me discography. That is my second favorite band of all time, and sometimes I consider them my favorite sometimes, but Between the Buried and Me for me would have to be the discography I would like to do. I was really thinking about it, and I just decided against it at the last moment, and you guys voted for Iron Maiden, and, you know, there's that. But, Between the Buried and Me would definitely be the one I'd have to pick. Number 3, are you gonna stay black even on the new channel? And that's his catchphrase, stay black. Yes, of course, Logan. You know it. Okay, the Motley Maiden. Motley Maiden. Ooh, I don't know, I blanked there for a second. Sorry about that. The Motley Maiden asks, are you gonna do any movie reviews on your other channel? And the answer is, right now, no. For me, the format of the Chainsaw Reacts channel, if you guys don't know, is basically reaction videos to movie trailers, TV promo stuff, and video game trailers and gameplay. So at this time, no. I have done some videos where I talk about like announcements like Suicide Squad, the cast being announced, and I talked about some Marvel related stuff. But no, I at this moment I'm not planning on doing movie reviews. But maybe at a later point, a later date. But for right now, no. There's no plans to do movie reviews on the Chainsaw Reacts channel. Jake Rattlehead 1, what's up, man? A long-time person who's been watching me, and he actually says it right now. Sad to see you leave this channel. I first saw you in 2012, 2 years ago, man. That's crazy. It's crazy you saw me back in the day when I was standing on the opposite side of me where I'm looking at right now, the wall. Was using that, if you've seen that. His first question is, interesting question, it really is. First, what did you think of Maiden Slave as you used to be on his Hangout videos? You know, it's really mixed feelings. I don't want to get into too much detail because, you know, for me, I'm leaving this channel. I don't want to carry on drama and stuff. A lot of bad things happen. You know, for a time, me and him and other reviewers that we met through this whole process, and people I still consider my friends, me and Maidenslave and all of them were great, and things just went bad. And, you know, for me, it is what it is. It happened. At the time when I did Google Hangouts, like you referenced here in the question, it was cool. You know, I had really no issues with him. He had a different personality, and I understood that. You know, the whole entire time we did Hangouts and stuff with me and him and a couple other people, or just me and him sometimes, we had different personalities, and sometimes it didn't always click. And I'll be the first to admit that. But what do I think of him now? Well, he's gone, and maybe it's for the best. Maybe it's for the best that, you know, he's just not around anymore, and that's not because I don't want to see him anymore because he's a piece of crap. You know, people liked him for whatever reason. You know, for me and other reviewers, and I'm not going to speak on their thoughts, but for me personally, you know, we had our issues, we had our differences, and we had this whole big fight that happened, and it's the past. It's what it is. It's the past. I don't care about it. I don't think about it. Honestly, I haven't thought about Maidenslave in months because there's no reason to think about it, because why dwell in the past and think about that when you can move forward and look on to other stuff? So for me, you know, I've never met him personally. I never met him in person. I don't know him personally, so I couldn't tell you. But from what the persona was on YouTube at a time, I liked him and, you know, respected him to an extent. But after the whole issues that went down and we kind of divided and a lot of people, including myself, stopped talking to him, then, you know, we didn't like him and he didn't like us. So that's basically it. So there you go. What is your favorite metal subgenre? It always flip-flops, but I think for right now where I am listening to music, progressive metal. You know, Dream Theater, Between the Buried and Me, Skull Summit, stuff like that. I really enjoy that progressive element of metal. That's really something that I really dig. But it flip-flops between that and, well, not right now currently, but thrash is something, and technical death metal, and melodic death metal is another good one. But for me personally, at the current moment, I'm really into progressive metal, and I'm really looking into progressive technical metal and stuff like that. So I'm looking into bands like that right now. And lastly, do you plan to stay on your new channel longer than you did with this one? Well, I started Chainsaw back in 2009, and I started getting into full-time videos in January of 2012. So roughly, it's been a long time, but for full-time, you know, uploading content on a regular basis and trying to, you know, it's 2 years, roughly 2 years. So I would have to say, I don't know. But for right now, I'm really enjoying the Chainsaw Reacts channel. It's way easier for me time-wise, and it's just something different for me to do. So currently at this time, I don't know, but I plan on doing it for quite a while, so there you go. That's currently at the time. I have no reason to stop it currently right now. So Jake Rattlehead 1, thank you, and thank you, Motley Maiden, for your question. I'm going back to him, just saying thanks. Macklin Godfrey, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. I'm just going to call you Godfrey, your second name. What is your first question, what is your favorite band ever? Metallica. But Between the Buried and Me, if you listen a little bit earlier in the video, Between the Buried and Me is a close second. So Metallica is my favorite band ever. Brought me back into the metal world, so I got to give them some credit. Number 2, will you do album reviews from time to time on Chainsaw Reacts? You should. I will not be doing that. Honestly, the reason why I'm quitting the Chainsaw channel is not because I'm moving on to the Chainsaw Reacts channel and I want to spend more time on there. I'm quitting the Chainsaw channel because I'm tired of album reviews. I'm just tired of doing it. And if I stop doing album reviews and continue the Chainsaw channel as just metal topic and metal news, people would be like asking every single time I upload a video that's not an album review, I want an album review. And I'm really tired of talking about metal. I mean, I love metal. I still love the genre. I still love the music. I'm just tired of metal videos. I'm tired of dealing with that kind of format. And honestly, you know, that's one of the big reasons why I wanted to get out. But the Chainsaw Reacts was created after I decided to stop the Chainsaw channel and wanted to quit from doing it and stop it. So my plan is no, there's not going to be any album reviews. I'm not going to be talking about music at all, unless I do a Q&A on the Chainsaw Reacts channel. If I ever decide to do one, then if questions are asked, then sure. but you're going to see reaction videos and topic videos from time to time relating to movies, TV, and video games on the Chainsaw Reacts channel. So no, you will not be seeing album reviews. I'm done with that at this time. Number 3, what are your guilty pleasures in metal? I really don't have guilty pleasures. I mean, if you like stuff, then you like stuff. I guess you could say Slipknot, because that's a band people like to hate on. I don't know. I mean, I really don't have a guilty pleasure in metal. I mean, if it's a metal band and I like it, I'm going to listen to it. Are you asking, do I like Black Veil Brides and stuff like that people like to hate? I don't like that. I mean, honestly, if I like a band, I'll admit it and say, I like this band. You know, I have no guilty pleasures whatsoever, really. Okay, thank you for the questions, Godfrey. Greedy Selfish 97. Do you like pro wrestling? When I was a kid, I did. Not now. I don't have any interest in, you know, watching it, really. I mean, when I was a little kid, I thought it was the coolest thing ever, and I tried to copy the moves and stuff. My dad showed me pro wrestling, so it was kind of cool. But now, no, I'm not interested at all. Do you play wrestling video games? When I did as a kid, I did play. I played one on the PlayStation 1. It was really fun, and I think I played one on the Nintendo 64. I think, yeah. But recently, no, I've not played any. If you do, what is your favorite wrestling game? I can't remember the name of it. The one that I played on the PlayStation 1, it was really, really fun when I was little, but I can't remember what the name was. I think it was NWO or something like that. I can't remember. I've slept since then. It's been years since I played those, but thanks for the questions. So the final question I think we're going to get to is on Iron Opeth 89. We're going to cut it off here from Iron Opeth 89, who asks, when listening to an album, do you ever listen in shuffle mode, or do you only listen to an album in its original track order? Okay, two scenarios. If I'm listening to an album to review it, original track order, of course. If I'm listening to a couple of songs from an album that I already know, and I just want to listen to, you know, a couple songs off the album, then of course I'm going to pick songs from it and listen to, you know, random tracks. So usually when I listen to a full album, it's for an actual album review, and sometimes at work I'll listen to like stuff on my iPod, and I'm just listening to the entire album and not reviewing it, just listening to it while I work, because I'm trying to, you know, stay focused on my work and have something to listen to instead of just like, you know, no noise. But yeah, that's kind of the thing. If I'm listening to an album to review it, then it would be original tracks, and I would pull individual songs from albums I already know, you know, because, you know, I like there's a lot of songs I like more than others on albums. So instead of listening to an entire album to get to that particular track, I'll just listen to it right away. So that's how I do it. Now this is gonna be interesting. Iron Opeth, you asked top 5 modern thrash bands as your second question. See, I don't, these questions, I'm not saying don't ask them. It's just, you know, it's really hard for me to answer them, because because usually when I do top 5s and stuff like that, I actually have to write it down and think about it and stuff. So I'll basically just answer this question and the third one that's very similar by basically just naming off thrash bands I like. So I can't give you a top 5 per se. Well, actually, I can tell you my number 1. If I had a top 5 for thrash, Sylosis would be number 1. Revocation, you know, Evil, modern thrash bands. There's not a lot of modern thrash bands I know. I know older thrash bands that are still putting out stuff like Overkill, and, you know, Slayer and stuff like that. I mean, like, there's you know, they're still putting out stuff. But, I mean, for 3 that I can name off the top of my head, Sylosis, Revocation, and not Overkill, Evil. Top 5 death metal bands of all time. Man, you know, Cannibal Corpse, it's got to be number 1, but I can't give you a full list. I mean, because, like, there's not a lot of death metal bands. Like, my main thing is progressive metal and some thrash metal, but a lot of older thrash and newer thrash in the mix. Melodic death metal, technical death metal. But death metal, it's really hard to answer that, because Cannibal Corpse is my number 1, because my favorite death metal band is definitely Cannibal Corpse. That's strictly death metal. I mean, Septic Flesh does death metal in a sense, but they have symphonic death metal, so it doesn't really count. I got Annotations of an Autopsy. Annotations of an Autopsy changed their format later on, but for right now, Annotation of an Autopsy, other older stuff. It's just kind of hard to answer those questions, man. I'm sorry, I wish I could give you more, but that's honestly what I have. That's the end of part 1, guys. I'm running out of time here. I answered a couple people's questions. I'm trying to give as much time as possible for each person So, you know, to give them time to, you know, ask questions and stuff and, you know, not just rush through them. So that's part 1, guys. And I only got to a couple people, but we're going to continue on tomorrow with part 2. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys with part 2 tomorrow. Peace out.